it's Lauren with Miss Marie Creations, and welcome to Camface. I hope you enjoy it. Today I have a progress video for you, or a spotlight, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be doing basically a ship in a bottle, but it's kind of a play on that. It's a ship in a pocket watch. It's a pocket watch bezel that I found at Michael's, and it was kind of on the expensive side. It was about $4 or $5, somewhere around there. And well, I'm just kind of speeding up this video for you because it took me 4 hours, and it was very intricate and very detailed, and I had to use really tiny tools, and it just took me forever. And the editing of this video took me forever. So I figured I would go that extra mile and bring you face cam. So I'm sorry if I'm looking down, but I'm kind of watching the video. But I used a dark brown for the middle of the ship, which is also the deck color. So I kept that in mind when I was choosing the middle color for this. And the customer that I had, he wanted a blue and gold brig ship, specifically a British brig ship, that was turned into a pirate ship. So that was what I had to go on from the beginning. And I must have called him several times about the details of the ship. How many cannons, how many sails, what color were the sails. I must have annoyed the crap out of him with this, but he was really impressed with it at the end. So I'm going to be putting on the gold strip right now, and the gold strip was, I think, the hardest part of this for me, because I couldn't figure out how I wanted to do the cannons, because the cannons are on the gold band of the ship, and I either had to decide to take a ball tool and put an indent in the gold strip and then put black clay into that, or like a couple times I did it while the gold strip was on the ship, or when it was off the ship, and it took me such a long time to figure it out, and I peeled it off a million times, and I just couldn't figure it out. I finally ended up just leaving the gold strip on the ship. I didn't use any clay to put the black cannons on. I ended up using paint instead of clay after it was baked, and that was the best decision that I made, I think, on this entire ship, because the paint saved me a lot of trouble in the end. Even though I spent so much time trying to figure out how to do it in clay that it almost didn't even make any sense for me to, you know, just scrap it all and do it all over again. But it looked better in the end. Now I'm putting on the sails, and I used this stupid pink wire that I found. And it's so thin, and it just kept bending on me every time I tried to put wire on, and then I pricked my fingers a million times with the wire. It was insane. But it was really simple for me to do the sails. I just made kind of a trapezoid shape and then just threaded it onto the wire and then put the wire on the ship. The hardest part for me was to try and fit it inside the bezel, especially, like, you have to keep in mind when you have a bezel that's closed, that has glass on the top of it, you have to make sure that your clay is going to fit inside at the end. That was the hardest part, was like making sure that it fit, even though I kept through the process putting the top back on and making sure that it fit. After I baked it, it still didn't fit. I had to take like files and knives and peel clay off the back of it, and it took me like an extra hour just to get it to fit inside, and it still didn't fit properly. It still didn't click like it was supposed to. So I just kind of glued it. And then in the pictures at the end that I'll show, you can see that the glass is cracked because I got so ticked off from holding it because sort of the glue would dry to keep it closed. I just like threw it under my table in my living room and it's so heavy that it broke the glass. But I was like, screw it, it'll look more like a pirate type thing with the glass broken, right? And the customer actually liked it. So that was actually good on me, but it took forever. Oh, now I'm taking like little pieces of white clay and shoving them under the sails so the sails would stay like 3D. I was really worried that during the baking process the sails would start to droop because they're so thin, that I ended up taking small scrap pieces of white and shoving them under just to make sure that they stayed the shape that I wanted them to be. Because even though it's cold in Illinois right now, the sails were still drooping. Like, even with just the time of me putting on the other sails, they started to droop. So I had to put those extra pieces of clay in, and it worked really well, and you couldn't see it once it was inside the bezel. Okay, now, yeah, I'm fitting it in the bezel right now. And surprise, surprise, it fit at this point, and it didn't fit after I got done baking it. Okay, I'm just going to pop in here at the end of the video to mention that you should look me up on social media. I have a Facebook page as well as an Instagram and a CraftyAmino account. So if you go to any of those, just mention on one of my pictures that you're from YouTube to let me know, and that would help me out a lot. As well as commenting and subscribing and liking this video. And every little bit helps at the beginning of this little endeavor that I'm doing with all of these clay videos. Any kind of feedback would be great, as long as it's constructive. No, your work sucks, you know, that kind of thing. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another tutorial soon. I'm going to try to post every week, and if I don't, make sure you get on me. See ya, have a good day.